Just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder, if you guys love my videos and want to support me, check out compassion-tees.com. Link is at the end of the video. Alright, this is John Colo with growingyourgreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. It is a beautiful spring day here. I think we hit probably like 70 degrees today, maybe a little bit higher than 70 degrees. Springtime, and you know what happens when there's warm weather. Number one, I need to increase my watering cycles because I was on a winter schedule and it's getting pretty warm. It's also arid in my climate here, so water evaporates really fast. So I got to make sure my plants aren't stressed out and I water them enough. In addition, plants, because it is starting to heat up, they're like, uh-oh, it's starting to heat up. It's past our cold season because I have all cold season crops. Some of them are now bolting or going to flower, including my cauliflower and the tatsoi and my Napa cabbage. I need to harvest these things as quickly as possible, process them, and store them off for the summer or for later years. But at the same time, aside from the bolting and the increasing the watering, another thing happens in the springtime that I never look forward to. It's the bugs. Yes, the bugs, the creepy crawly things. The aphids, you know, the white flies. I think mostly right now I'm having aphid issues and some pretty severe ones at that. And in this episode I'm going to basically experiment with a brand new product that I like better than what I used to use, and we'll explain what that was and what that is in just a little bit. But first I want to show you guys the problems that I'm having in my garden right now. The nasty aphids. So my garden is looking beautiful. As you guys can see, got the purple cauliflower starting to bolt and my blue kale starting to bolt. I think this bed's all pretty good. I didn't really see too many bugs in here. But if we go to the lettuce bed, that's where things are a little bit different. Lots of lettuces. Looks like to me this bed's being actually underwatered a little bit. Probably need to hand water tonight. But if you look closely on these leaves in the HD camera, can you guys see that? All those little white dots down in there? Those are little aphids. The aphids basically suck the juice out of your plants. They're like little vampires. They're like leeches. They're sucking the nutrients out of my plants, so the plants are getting stunted and they can't grow as well. And like, let's see on this one, this lettuce next door, it seems to have some, but not as bad as this red lettuce, which seems to attract them. And if we look over on my red Russian kale, you know, I'm not really seeing any, although the aphids usually like the little center stalks, so when the plant goes to flower, that's generally where they will be. So here up on the arugula, they're going to be up here on the tips generally, but I'm actually not seeing any. Oh, actually, I think there's some over here. Nope, not seeing any. All right. So anyways, I'm having some issues with some of my lettuces with aphids. And then furthermore, my beautiful tree collards that I love the most. I think they're now pushing like 10 feet tall. They're so insane. Check this out. Tree collards generally aren't supposed to flower. Some of mine flower. Sometimes the purple ones tend to flower more than the green ones. But I noticed some really bad aphid issues. Oh my God, look at this. This is so nasty. They're just like, they're even moving. You guys see that? The aphids are just crawling around, sucking the plant saps, moving around. They're just so gross. Look at all that in there. Those are little aphids. Now, mine are gray. They could be white. They could be green. Depends on, you know, the type of aphid and what they're eating. You know, what they're eating will influence the color. So I could release like ladybugs. Now the challenge with ladybugs is that you might release ladybugs, they might find the aphids, but then again they might fly away. So if you have, I think if you have a greenhouse and you're releasing aphids in the greenhouse to keep them inside, that's probably a good idea. But to release ladybugs because you have aphids, probably not the best idea. There are other aphid predators, and actually, you know, that might be a good choice for me. The other thing I do when I have a lot of aphids like this, before I even spray anything, I might just spray high pressure water. You know, if I spray high pressure water on these aphids, it will basically blast them off, discombobulate them, dislocate them. They may or may not come back. Normally I would do that, but I want to test this new, you know, organic certified control that I think is better than what I was using before. You guys can see, you know, my spinach, it's now bolting. I don't think I have any aphid issues on my spinach or any large issues. Rest of my garden, all looking pretty nice back there. All little baby ashitabas over here, carrots over here, and all edible viola flowers, which I need to hit with some water since we had a hot day today. But anyways, what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and show you guys actually what I'll be using to spray down my aphids. So if you guys have been watching me for a while, you're like, John, I know you're going to spray on your aphids, man. Well, number one, I would spray high pressure water, and I just go around and do that for a couple of days before I even spray anything. Because here's the thing, whenever you spray anything, it'll affect the environment, right? Your environment, the environment that you're gardening in, your organic garden. Think about that. You know, if you're using heavy-duty chemical pesticides that are man-made, right? These have half-lives. They will sit around and linger. You know, if you read the warning labels on there, they may be poisonous to you, your pets, your family, all this kind of stuff. And in my opinion, those are not good. So then they have organic approved ones, which are basically derived from plants. Some of them can be actually quite strong and maybe not the healthiest thing to use either. But the other thing is that, you know, these pesticides will contaminate, or they'll always be an overspray. They'll be on your plants. They may, you know, negatively affect other insects besides the targeted insect. In this instance, I want to target the aphids, but you know, I'm also seeing bees, both honeybees now, pollinator bees, and other different flying creatures, right? And spraying some even organic pest controls can negatively affect these beneficial, you know, insects, as well as, you know, you may be negatively affecting the beneficial microbes on the plant leaves by basically spraying even organic approved pest controls. So if all those of you guys have been watching me while, you're like, John, I know what you're going to use, man. One of your most watched videos on pest control is how to end pest problems forever. And basically you're using these two things. This is Super Clean Neem and Dr. Bronner's. So yes, there was a time in my gardening career where I would just basically, if I see bugs, I'm spraying this stuff instantly. But you know, I've gotten more mature and wiser. And so this is not my first step. Actually, this is my last fleeting step that I do before I rip my plants out. I'll spray this stuff, right? And in some cases, I might just rip the plants out if they're so bad that I think that even if I spray this stuff, they're not going to come back. The reason for that is, you know, I think the Sal Suds, this is a soap, a surfactant. It's relatively harmless. It could clog pores and things. But the neem, you know, this can be quite toxic to insects, both beneficials and non-beneficials. In addition, this may, you know, negatively affect the beneficial microbes, which, you know, I work hard to get my beneficial microbes, whether I'm making a compost tea, spraying the EM1, you know, whatever. So I want you guys to think about that before you spray those things. But now I'm glad to announce there's actually a new pest control item, and it's a product. It's right here. This is actually called the Amazing Dr. Zymes. So unlike the Sal Suds and the Super Clean Neem that will literally sit on the plant leaf, coat the plant leaf, be there for, you know, I don't know how long, you know, and can have negative effects all during the time it is still active. The Dr. Zymes here is actually only active while it is wet. Once it dries out, it is no longer active. It's not going to kill anything. So that's good and bad. It's good because there are going to be no systemic effects from spraying this. It's like a one-time application. When it's wet, it works, and when it's dry, it's basically gone. So that's good and bad. Now the other thing about this is that you cannot apply this in high heat or direct sunlight, because that will basically make this null and void. It will make this stuff not work. So that's another good thing, right? This stuff is so volatile that it's basically non-persistent. It's gonna, you spray it, it's gonna be around, hang around for a couple hours, and then it's gone. You know, so that's why I like this product a lot. It's actually called the Amazing Dr. Zymes. You know, I did cover this in an episode at the Heirloom Festival. And I said in that episode, the Amazing Dr. Zymes will send you free samples, a 2-ounce sample, as well as information about their product. I'll put a link down below so you guys could sign up for that free sample. I would encourage you guys to try it and see what you think, right? Based on some feedback I've gotten, you know, that people got their samples, they tried it, and they were like amazed on how well it worked. You know, I've used it in little outbreaks here and there, mixing it up in small amounts in just a 32-ounce spray bottle with 2 ounces of their product with 30 ounces of water. And that's a pretty hardcore dilution ratio. They have all the you know, dilution ratios on the package here. But basically, I want to read you more about this. It says insecticide and fungicide kills and eliminates insects, including larvae and eggs of aphids, fungus gnats, mites. So mite eggs, it says it breaks down, which is actually something very hard that even the neem oil can't do effectively. Root aphids, thrips, whiteflies, and fungus, molds, and mildews. I mean, this thing sounds like it's like a miracle product if it works on all these things. It says non-bacterial, shelf-stable, does not require special clothing or handling, no growth stage limitations, no harvest restrictions, food-grade ingredients, gluten-free, oil-free, won't clog stomata. That's the other thing. The oil, it's going to clog your plant stomatas. GMO-free, no harmful residues. So that's why I like this stuff. And let's see, on here it says active ingredients, citric acid 0.05, other ingredients 99.99%, and it says 100%, and it says water, yeast, and potassium sorbate. And those are the other ingredients. Now, it doesn't exactly say what's in here, so like, what is in here? So, you know, I've tried to talk to the owner of the company, and, you know, it's basically proprietary because she doesn't want anybody to rip them off or anything. But as far as I'm understanding it, it's some kind of enzymes, and these enzymes basically eat away the shell of the insects, and the insects die, basically. So it's like, think about if this is like acid, like hydrochloric acid or whatever kind of acid. You pour it on your skin starts bubbling, your blood starts coming out, and you croak. So that's how this stuff does it on the insects, right? Whoa, don't want to break that. So, oh, and then I've also heard testimonials on how this can potentially help even things like, you know, mold and fungus and dampening off on microgreens. And this is safe to use on microgreens because, once again, it dissipates, you know, relatively quickly. And so there's no harvest restrictions on that either. And of course, on here it says OMRI approved for organic farming, and that's what I like to do. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix this up, and I'm going to go ahead and apply it with my favorite backpack sprayer right here. And, you know, no, I did not get paid to say this. I like this backpack sprayer because it's the best price, performance, and performing backpack sprayer I found. And it's by Greenwood. It's basically a Harbor Freight backpack sprayer. I think it's like 29 bucks, and they put it on sale for 25. And then if you get like a 20% off coupon, you get it for like 20 bucks. Something kind of insane. I love it a lot. And this is a 4-gallon. So the dilution ratio is you're going to do 2 ounces per 30 ounces. So 2 ounces of this for 30 ounces, and because I'm doing 4 gallons, basically works out to I'm going to need about 32 ounces of this stuff, and then basically the rest is going to be some filtered water. So we're just going to go ahead and take this measuring cup here, and we're going to go ahead and pour up 32 ounces of this stuff. And this stuff just looks like, you know, kind of like a deep colored beer. It's non-carbonated. Got it up to 30, and there's about 32 ounces right there. And this is just going to go into the backpack sprayer, which is clean. Now, very important, you don't want to mix this with any kind of surfactants. You want to make sure your backpack sprayer, or if you're using a spray bottle or whatever, is super clean. You want to make sure there's no contaminants. The other thing is that you want to only apply the Dr. Zymes at night, right? You know, in the evening. So the sun right now is just about setting. I can't see it directly, but it's kind of below the horizon. So pretty soon it's going to be dark, but this is the perfect time to apply this when it's cool at night and when there's no direct sunlight on it. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and load this up with water, and then you're just going to see me starting to apply the Dr. Zymes. So I mixed up the water here, and what I would recommend for you guys is actually put in the water first and then add the Dr. Zymes, because it tends to create a lot of bubbles for whatever reason. So I think I probably got almost 4 gallons, but I got to take out some of these bubbles so I could put a bit more water in there. All right, I got my backpack sprayer on. Give me something to spray. All right. So So we're just going to go ahead and spray down the lettuce, the tree collards, as well as some other plants on the other side of my garden that got the aphids. Maybe we'll show you guys a little bit of this stuff. So it's really important for me when I'm spraying is I want to make sure I get the leaves evenly coated, you know, all different surfaces where they may be, and in this case they're usually right at the crown, you know, right where the plant is going to flower. We're going to spray down basically every plant in my garden, since I have like literally 4 gallons of the Dr. Zymes product. Can't hurt, it dissipates relatively quickly. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm out of the Dr. Zymes. No more. I basically sprayed the entire, almost 4 gallons, just amongst my garden. This bed, the tree collards, actually my longevity spinach, got some aphids on it too, and then I have more tree collards on the other side, some ornamental kale and cabbages, got it as well. I think that's mostly what I sprayed. Anyways, what we're going to do for you guys is we're basically going to come back for you guys tomorrow, maybe the next day, to see if the Dr. Zymes actually worked. Alright, so as you guys can see, it's actually the next day, and I want to show you guys actually what happened in the garden after I sprayed the Dr. Zymes late last night. So we're going to take the camera around and show you guys actually some of the same exact plants that I sprayed, and we're going to see how it looks now to find out if this stuff really worked. So this is my lettuce bed, and if I look really closely at the leaves, you know, I still see some aphids on there, you know, maybe less than there was before. Let's go over that specific, I think, plant that I looked at yesterday. I think it was this guy right here, actually. And I'm still seeing some aphids. Maybe I didn't spray that low, or maybe those are just corpses. I think I see some live aphids down there, maybe. So, looks like they're maybe reduced from what they were, but they're definitely still hanging out. Now let's go ahead and continue down some more. And you know, it could have been that I didn't spray this particular plant well or not, because I tried to spray each and every plant, but some plants I sprayed more than others. This plant right here doesn't seem to be having too much aphid issues. Maybe it was this plant I originally saw and sprayed down really well. And this guy I'm seeing, you know, probably very little aphid issues. I'm not going to say they're totally gone. You know, so maybe another application would probably be, you know, a good thing to do. You know, especially with organic pest controls, you know, they may not be effective just the first time. You may have to reapply it a few times. What I'm really curious about is seeing how it worked over here. And you guys remember this guy right here, right? I showed this to you guys yesterday, how it looked, and look at that now. That's pretty amazing. Yesterday, this thing was just crawling full of aphids. That very bud that's starting to bloom on my tree collards, that was covered with aphids. Look at it now, right? You see some aphids on there. I'm not going to say they're totally gone, but you know, for the most part, that's a lot, significantly cleaner. I'm going to say it's, man, at least 80-90% cleaner than it was before. The next thing I'm going to do now is, and you see some corpses there. Now, I was by earlier in the day, and I did see a little bit more activity than there's now, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. But yeah, this definitely looked like we have some success. Alright, so now I want to share with you guys my summary of the Dr. Zymes. You know, I met the Dr. Zymes owner, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe a year or 2 years ago. I forget exactly when. Time flies when you're having fun. And I basically was given a whole bunch of these little sample bottles to play with over the time, and it's been at least, I'm going to say at least maybe a year since I've had the Dr. Zymes. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe not quite a year. But anyways, I've been using little sample bottles as much as I can, and you know, while it did work on the aphids, in my opinion, to a percentage, you know, probably a reapplication would be good. And then the other thing is, I'm not really too concerned with aphids. Normally with aphids, I don't even bother getting anything like this. I just spray high pressure water on them, go back to the plant a couple days, and then, you know, they may just disappear anyways, you know. But definitely spraying this, and it wasn't even high pressure, just in the backpack sprayer, it looks like it definitely did take them down. I'm more interested on how this works with the spider mites, which I haven't gotten into spider mite season yet this year, because spider mites, wreak some havoc in my garden. And while this can deal with the spider mites, according to the label, it also says it deals with the spider mite eggs. And for me, that's really huge, because it's really hard for any kind of organic pest control to deal with spider mite eggs. So, I hope to test this some more later in the season to find out how it works. I have used this, last season on whiteflies, which then I get whiteflies, I'll spray this on. It takes care of them. There'll be significantly reduced populations, and I might spray it the next day. And, I like this stuff, because it's non-persistent. It appears to work, although, I haven't done any scientific studies. I just showed you guys what happened. I also have used this to combat fungus. And also, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, this also has helped me personally with some fungus issues that I've had to experience. So, here's the thing. I would recommend you guys try this, right? It's free. You guys can get this sample 2-ouncer for free. That's amazing. They're even going to pay the shipping for you. So check the link down below to get your free sample 2-ounce trial bottle. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Of course, they only ship to you 50 United States through the post office. Now the question is, should you buy like a bigger size, like a gallon or a half gallon? And that depends on you, I know this product is being used in the cannabis industry to grow cannabis because it's a safe alternative to other more harmful things. I personally would rather use this instead of neem and Dr. Bronner's, which I take out as the last and final step. This, I won't spray this haphazardly, but I'll spray this, more often, if I need to, and I won't feel bad about killing the beneficials, hurting, other creatures that may be visiting, or insects that may be visiting my garden, whether they're pollinators or beneficial insects. That being said, I want to sum up my pest control, because I really didn't talk about it earlier in this episode. Number one, I think manual control is best. What is manual control? Manual control is use your fingers, pick off bugs, smush bugs, right? I could smush all the aphids that were clearly visible on the tree collards because they're external. Now the aphids on my lettuce, that's a little bit harder because they're hiding on each and every leaf, and we have nice tight heads. So that's where a product that you could spray that actually gets in there to kill them, I think is really good. After manual control, number two, I would recommend high pressure water spraying. Water is a chemical. It's H2O, but it's non-toxic for the most part, unless you swallow too much of it and then you can't breathe. But basically that just dislodges the soft-bodied insects, off your plants. Number three might be like spraying some kind of high pressure air, and I'm going to experiment with this more to see if that actually could really work. But that'd be kind of similar to water, just something high pressure. As long as it doesn't damage the leaves, you're good to go. I could easily do that on my tree collards, on the lettuce. Spraying high pressure water might actually pop some holes in the leaves or damage them. I've even bruised some leaves before, like on my pepper plants, by spraying them high pressure water after I got some aphids infested. Actually, when I got the plants from the nursery. And actually, that reminds me, I want to check something really fast. These plants, when I got them from the nursery, had really bad aphids, and I remember I sprayed these down hardcore with the Dr. Zymes product on the bottom of the leaves. Now these guys, I shouldn't have picked this 6-pack. They were really bad. I didn't look at them before I got them. I figured they'd be all right. And if we look at them today, there's definitely less aphids that are on here, but I definitely need to reapply. I think I reapplied twice, but it has significantly reduced their numbers on the plant. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this and treat this again actually real quick. So all in all, I think this stuff is really, so I was actually, I got distracted. So number one, manual control. Number two, spraying with high pressure water. Number three, I would do some kind of a beneficial insect release. And even before all of this stuff, I would try to have really good soil and healthy soil, give your plants all the nutrition, and trace minerals and microbes they need, including high chitin worm castings, so the plants could produce their own defenses against the bugs. We're kind of backtracking there. And then next, I might spray something like this. No, I do beneficial insects as a release. So last year I did praying mantises like 3 times in my garden. I believe they help significantly, plus they're really fun to look at, so I'll be doing that again this year. Other kind of beneficial insects, I'll put a link down below to a video on that where I talk more about the beneficial insects. And then finally I might spray something like this that won't hurt beneficial insects and it's not going to be persistent and hang out. I would do this for a number of times, and once again, on all these different procedures, don't just do it once. Oh man, I smushed them, it didn't work, John, I'm going to go on to the next one. No, smush them for like a week, and if you can't smush them and take care of the problem, then maybe escalate to the next level, right? And spray high pressure water, do that for a week, and if they still coming back, those buggers, then go to the next level, and the next level, and the next level, right? I always want to encourage you guys to do the most natural thing first, to do the least amount of harm to the environment and possibly harm beneficial insects. You know, after I would spray the Dr. Zymes, then I would move on to maybe something like the neem and Dr. Bronner's. I mean, the other thing that I might even consider is if there's an issue that is so bad that I can't control with some of the easier methods, I have to like ask myself, John, is saving this plant really worth it, right? Do you really need this plant, or could you just cut it out and plant a new plant in its place that's not going to have any pest issues, right? At a certain point, you're just like, you know, that plant's got to go. It's like when you've had it right over up to the line with your wife, your husband, your ex-girlfriend, and you're just like, you know what? They got to go. I'm done. That's how it is with some plants with me. No, luckily, when it's with plants, it's a little bit easier than with a girlfriend. That's a lot more challenging decision. But nonetheless, sometimes I just cut the plant out and put a whole new plant in, you know, instead of having to spray things if I don't want to. And I want to let you guys know there's always options out there. And if Dr. Bronner's and neem doesn't work, then I have different kind of, you know, oils and, you know, organicide and, you know, pyrethrins and all these different things that I use. But I honestly, I rarely use those. So in the end, I want to encourage you guys to have healthy plants. Healthy plants are more resistant to disease and bugs and insects. You know, the higher you could get your protein content in your plants by growing high quality plants, you know, the more the bugs do not want to eat your plants, and they're going to go to your next door neighbor's garden that's not having good soil fertility practices. So if you guys want to get some of this Dr. Zymes stuff, check the link down below. Also, I have a link to their website, also the coupon code that'll save you guys actually 25% to get a 25% discount if you guys want to purchase. But everybody that watches this, if you're in the U.S., should request your free 2-ounce sample. Only 1 sample per person. Sorry, you can't just keep requesting samples every week. They're not going to keep sending it to you. You know, because here's the thing, Dr. Zymes, they want to show you guys that their product works. They're not scared to, like, you know, spend a couple bucks and postage just went up, you know, to get you their product, because they know that once you use it, you're going to be like, wow, this stuff works. And if you're growing microgreens that have had problems with, you know, mold and fungus and dampening off and stuff, right? I heard that this stuff works, so to me that's completely amazing. It's also completely safe, you know, for the environment, for beneficial insects, and more importantly, for us. I think that's pretty much it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also be sure to share this video with other organic gardeners, cannabis growers, you know, so that they could actually grow more naturally, and especially microgreens growers, you know, they could prevent the dampening off and other mold issues, you know, that they may be having. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new upcoming episodes of coming out every 3 to 4 days. You never know where or what we'll be learning on my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new episodes come out. You never know what topic I'll be covering or what you'll miss if you're not subscribed and are getting notified. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 1,400 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys how to grow your own food and do it best at home through organic biologic methods. So with that, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep on growing.